Welcome to Watchman on the Wall, a daily outreach of Southwest Radio Ministries and SWRC.com. God is still on the throne, and prayer changes things. This week, 10 powerful arguments will be revealed that prove that the rapture must happen before the tribulation. And today, Billy Crone will take us deep inside the Great Reset that's currently underway. I want to encourage you to visit our new website, SWRC.com, with updated features, new video podcasts, encouraging articles, and a new prayer wall where you can share your prayer needs, as well as our daily Watchman on the Wall program. SWRC.com is your new digital home of Watchman on the Wall and Southwest Radio Ministries. SWRC.com. Now, here's Josh Davis with today's guest, Billy Crone.
Joining us again on Watchman on the Wall is Pastor Billy Crone. He's got a brand new study, Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, and the Planned Destruction of America. There's a lot packed into that title. And Pastor Billy Crone, we are excited to welcome you back to Watchman on the Wall.
Hey, Josh, thanks for having me. It's always great to be on.
Let's just start with the title of this. There is, again, so much information crammed into the title, Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, and the Planned Destruction of America. What's the emphasis here of this new work?
Yeah, well, this new work is actually the fourth and final one of what we call our Schwab in the Deck series, as we've been dealing with this person, Klaus Schwab, and his institution called the World Economic Forum. Our first one was Klaus Schwab and the Third Reich, and then we did Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and the Mark of the Beast. Then we did Klaus Schwab, eugenics, and the rise of the Nephilim. And then this big finale is, okay, what about America?
Yes.
Are we okay? Are we safe from this guy's great reset agenda, as he calls it, or the Fourth Industrial Revolution? And no, we're not. And so that's why we've entitled it Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, which, by the way, includes Harris, and the planned destruction of America. Not just destruction, the planned destruction. And really, in a nutshell, Josh, what we've exposed is America is not safe from this megamaniac's desire to take over the planet. And again, the inside scoop is he's calling for this great reset, a one world government, a one world religion, a digital cashless global economy that's biometrically tied into people's body parts. Mm-hmm. What's that sound like? Well, that's the four pillars of the Antichrist kingdom. So call it what you will. This guy with his cohorts are bringing about the foundation of what God warned about, the Antichrist kingdom during the 7-year tribulation. That's why we need to deal with this as Christians, but also Christians and Americans, because that includes America, folks.
Yes.
In fact, you can go to the World Economic Forum's YouTube page. I like one guy said the phrase, evil likes to brag. And believe it or not, these guys will tell you what they plan on doing, whether you and I want it or not. And if you go to the World Economic Forum's website, which again is Klaus Schwab's think tank, global financial think tank, that he started in 1971, if you go to their YouTube page, they literally say there, they're not hiding it, and it says, America, this I think is plank number 2, not only you'll own nothing to be happy, we're familiar with that one,
mm-hmm.
but it says there, and America will no longer be a world superpower. I was like, well, wait a second. First of all, how is this not a national security issue? If you want to have the FBI and the CIA to investigate something, how about this? This guy is threatening the destruction of our country. And you can say, well, you know, he could say it all he wants, but there's no. This is, again, Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, and the planned destruction of America. We expose, Josh, in a nutshell, how Biden and Harris, which is just basically Biden Part 2, both of them are hirelings of this guy called Klaus Schwab, and they were handpicked. This is why they were shoved into the White House the last election, because for such a time as this, they want to have this great reset, the Antichrist kingdom, in place by 2030. And so they're running out of time. So after the pandemic, then they shoved Biden in, and he's been purposely destroying our country. And then we have it on tape. This is not a conspiracy theory. We have it on tape. On tape, Josh, listen to this. Klaus Schwab introducing Joe Biden at the World Economic Forum, and I quote, Klaus Schwab is looking over Joe Biden, who's smiling from ear to ear. He says, I have to recall and reflect how you have been one of my hardest working disciples over the years. And then if you do the research, Biden has not just been attending the World Economic Forum, he's been going there for almost 25 years, even before the Obama administration. He's a hireling of the Klaus Schwab. And then after Schwab introduces him, and this is on tape, he gets up there, Biden, when he could still halfway talk. I think this was a video from 2017. And he literally talks about how wonderful this Great Reset, this Fourth Industrial Revolution is, and the new coming digital revolution. But what's he talking about? He's talking about the first half of this Great Reset. The Great Reset has two sides to it. The first side is an economic reset, that they want to take over the planet, and part of that control is economic control, right? Because if you control the economy, then you basically control people's lives, including eventually what you can buy and sell. Where do you think we're headed? And that's the mark of the beast issue. He said that the Great Reset, it's to reset the global economy and specifically turn it into a digital, cashless society around the whole planet. Now, you're thinking, well, then why does he have Joe Biden doing his bidding? Well, because think about it, folks. If your goal is to reset the global economy and turn it into a new one, a digital global economy, then logically, what has to go? America. America, the dollar is the backbone of the current global economic system. So therefore, if you're going to reset it to this new one, we have to go. America's got to go. The dollar's got to go. This is why Biden and Harris were brought in, because they're both hirelings of Klaus Schwab, and they're here specifically to dismantle the American economy and even destroy America, because they're doing the bidding of Klaus Schwab. And that's easy to demonstrate, because what was the very first thing, if people recall, when Biden was put into the White House, what was the very first thing he did the very first day? He shut off the pipelines. And why is that? Because even secular economists, folks, they admit that any thriving economy in any industrial nation, in order for you to have a thriving economy, you have to have access to cheap, readily available fuel and oil. And that's why he was doing that. Because once you take away cheap, readily oil and fuel and make us energy dependent again, then it's going to start to ruin things financially. And that's exactly what he's been doing. He's been working at destroying the finances. And then because he destroyed the oil economy. And that's why inflation's gone through the roof. That's why what happened. Then made the food and the commerce to go crazy. And then destroying the real estate. It all spills downhill. See, this is the smoke screen, Josh, that people need to understand. A lot of people go like, well, man, look at Biden, look at Harris. I mean, he can't talk, and she's got a problem talking to herself. They're just a bunch of bumbling idiots who don't know what they're doing. And it's just too bad. No, folks, this is the smoke screen. They're not just making dumb decisions. They're making deliberate decisions to deliberately destroy America. It's a planned destruction, but you don't get it until you understand who they're working for. And again, we demonstrate, and this is easy. I invite your listeners, go do the homework yourself. Just do Kamala Harris and World Economic Forum. You will see that she has been pushing Klaus's agenda behind the scenes around the world since not just Biden, but she has been in the White House. And then you go take a look, do the research with Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff is his name. He gives speeches at the World Economic Forum. Folks, they're all coming from the same root. But once you understand the root, then you understand the game plan. This is not about Democrat, Republican. This is about, we have traitors in high places who are hirelings working for a gentleman who said that his goal is America will no longer be a superpower. And this is why we're trying to get this information out as fast as we can, because I'll just be blunt with you. If Harris gets in, it's over, folks. And that's exactly the plan.
Well, friends, we're visiting with Pastor Billy Crone, and the new book is Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, and the Planned Destruction of America. The book is over 500 pages long. There is also a video series that is a 15-part video series on DVD in 8 discs, and you can order both or one or the other by visiting swrc.com or giving us a call, 1-800-652-1144. You know, Pastor Billy, all these things are interconnected, not just the economy, but there's many other areas to this vast ball of yarn, and maybe you want to explore some other parts of this and how it all fits together.
Yeah, and again, if anything, one of the things that we expose before we get into, we literally itemize step by step how they are brought in, Biden and Harris, to dismantle on purpose and destroy the American economy and America. But what we start out is with the spiritual root, because you might be thinking, okay, now you've lost it. You're like one of those wacky conspiracy people with the triangle tinfoil hats on, I mean, come on. I mean, who in their right mind, what Americans, Biden and Harris, who would work as an American to literally destroy America? I mean, that's the most traitorous, treasonous behavior you could ever imagine. Well, you're right. And the reason why is because there's a spiritual element behind this, folks. And we trace the trail. These guys have, and I'll just kind of in a summarization, Biden and Harris and the folks that work with them who work with Schwab, they've sold their soul to the devil. And they're going like, well, why would they do that? Why would they sell America out? Because this is the deal when you make a deal with the devil, that they will be okay. Their families will be okay. And this plan with the Great Reset is those who go along with Schwab and the World Economic Forum and their Great Reset, you will be at the top of the pile. So basically, you do our bidding, and then we'll guarantee that you and your family are okay. This is what's going on. They've sold themselves. But there is a spirit behind it. We bring this out. We did another study. It's actually a 66-week study on the occult, and I actually stumbled across this when I was doing my occult studies. The reason why these people have come up with this thing called the Great Reset, which they pitch as the answer to the ills of humanity, is because there's a spiritual root, and that root, hang with me, I'll just describe it briefly, is a Luciferian root. And these guys, if you do the research, let me trace the trail for you. It started back in the late 1800s with a lady who was demon-possessed and got information from demons. Her name was Madame Blavatsky, and she was a rich Russian elite. And then she began to write down what these demons were telling her. And basically, she started a publishing company that produced what these demons were telling her. And it was called, no joke, Lucifer. So it was like a newspaper thing that she put out. And you're going, and so that was the first lie, that they believe that Lucifer is a good guy, take it a step further, and that he's convincing these people that if you listen to him, he will solve all the ills of mankind. He will bring utopia to the planet. You just got to do what he says. Now, okay, and so what's his methodology? I'm not making this up. This is all in print. He says, first of all, the Christians are the ones holding this up. The Christians are the bad guys. In fact, the Christians have got Lucifer wrong. He's a light bearer. He's a good guy coming here to free us. And so we need to follow the advice of Lucifer, who's on our side, is what they say, and then he will build utopia. Now, they call that utopia, different names. Back in the day, it was the age of Aquarius. A little bit more modern terms, New World Order. When you hear the phrase New World Order, it doesn't just mean a one-world government. It's straight out of Blavatsky, and that this New World Order is the new order of the world under Lucifer. And then they say this New World Order will be made up of this. We'll combine all the world's governments. We'll combine all the world's religions. We'll combine all the world's economies to be one in humanity. And, watch this, we will follow a one world leader who will be inspired by Lucifer. Now, what does this sound like? This is what the Bible's warned about. Mm-hmm. Exactly, dude. And so this started in the late 1800s. Now, here's where I'm going with that. You're thinking, well, that's crazy. Well, they passed the baton to another lady, and her name was Annie Besant. This is after, and basically the Luciferian religion is called Theosophy. And so it passed on to Annie Besant. Annie Besant got connected with demons as well, and she added another layer to this Luciferian New World Order. It was to, hey, we've got too many people on the planet, the demons told her. And so we need to annihilate 90% of the planet, all right? She gets hooked up with another lady. Her name was Margaret Sanger. And who's Margaret Sanger? The founder of Planned Parenthood, yes, who began to help depopulate the planet, things of that nature. Well, then it passes from Annie Besant to this lady. Her name was Alice Bailey. Alice Bailey is very important because she's the one who got connected with the UN, still to this day, right? You can go to their website. In fact, she started a company called Lucifer Publishing Company. Again, they think Lucifer's a good guy. Then that was a little too obvious. Then they changed it to Lucis Publishing. And then today, it's still in print. It's called Lucis Trust. But they are still working hand in hand with the United Nations. And the United Nations, I've had the privilege of filming on the inside for a documentary we did. And when you get on the inside, most people don't get it. On the outside, you're like, oh, okay, it's just a big, giant building downtown New York. No. You go on the inside, and they don't hide from what they're doing. They're there to build a one-world government, a one-world religion, etc., blah, blah, blah. It's the Luciferian order. So the UN has direct ties with this. Now, here's where I'm going with that. One of the big leaders for decades in the UN wanting to build this New World Order, this Luciferian order, is a gentleman named Maurice Strong. Maurice Strong, guess who was best buddies with him up until he died recently? Klaus Schwab. He has a direct tie with this Luciferian order to take over the planet and create a what? A one-world government, a one-world religion, a global economy, and we need to follow a one-world leader who's inspired by Lucifer, and somehow this is a good thing. All Schwab did was take this old-fashioned thing that was called Age of Aquarius. It was also called New World Order, but all he did was switch it because people started catching on to Age of Aquarius. That's New Agey, New World Order. So he relabeled it. It's called the Great Reset or the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's the exact same thing. The point is, the Bible is the only book on the planet that tells us this is not just a geopolitical issue, Josh. These guys are building the foundation right before our very eyes of what the Bible alone calls out as the rise of the Antichrist kingdom. And this is why we did the finale on this one. Folks, it also involves America. And in America, as we know it, when these guys get done, if they get their way, we're done. It's over, folks. And I don't know how else to say it. In fact, people use the phrase all the time, America's talking about the election and even past elections, that it's a war for the spirit of America. Well, boy, you hit that nail on the head. That's exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we also explore the spiritual background of not just Klaus Schwab and where he's getting this idea of the Great Reset, the Luciferian order, but guess who also is involved in dark spiritual things? It rhymes with Biden and Harris. Yeah. And so no wonder these people work together, is because they're all coming from the same satanic root. And this is not a conspiracy theory. Folks, if you know anything about our studies, we work very hard at not just reliable sources, but every chance we can get, we share with you on video these people saying it with their own mouth. And then, of course, if you get the book, then it's all transcribed for you. But my point is, this is not a conspiracy theory. When Trump said we need to drain the swamp, I'm convinced he left out one important word, and that's this. We need to drain the occult swamp. There is a nasty, evil, satanic spirit in the White House right now as we speak, folks. And if they get their way, it's over. And the Bible tells us what's coming. It's a Luciferian order. It's called the Antichrist kingdom. And so these guys can relabel it all they want. That's all this is. But for you and I, the Christian, the good news is this is what we can expect if we're living in the last days. And if we see these guys building basically the foundation of the Antichrist kingdom that starts at the 7-year tribulation, and we, the church, leave prior, our departure is that much nearer, and we need to finish strong as the bride of Christ.
Yes, absolutely. Friends, we're visiting with Pastor Billy Crone. The resource that we're discussing is Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, and the Planned Destruction of America. It's available as a book, over 500 pages, and Pastor Billy was just mentioning all the bonus features that are included in the DVD video series. You can purchase one or the other or both from our ministry, swrc.com, or you can give us a call, 1-800-652-1144. The video series is 15 parts over 8 discs, DVDs, and you would love to have this in your collection so that you can be informed. We are just hitting the tip of the iceberg, and Pastor Billy is going to be back with us on the next show, and we're going to continue this very important discussion as we see the rise of secularism, but there's also a very spiritual connection and component to the secular age that we live in. They just say we want no religion, but even in that, there is this Luciferian aspect of it. And so we're going to continue exploring these things and the ramifications. Pastor Billy, we look forward to continuing our discussion with you on the next program.
Amen. Thanks, Josh. Same here.
Billy Crone continues his look at the planned destruction of America on our next program. Make sure you order Billy Crone's latest expose, The Planned Destruction of America. Both the book and DVD set are now available. Dive deep inside the Great Reset and discover what the globalists like Klaus Schwab has planned for America. Inside the pages and on the DVDs of The Planned Destruction of America, you'll learn about the destruction of transportation, the destruction of immigration and borders, of finance, the economy, of currency, food, and commerce, global brainwashing, and the destruction of real estate and property. Order The Planned Destruction of America by Billy Crone, both the book and DVD. Simply call 1-800-652-1144. That's 1-800-652-1144. You can also order at our website, swrc.com. Pastor Larry Spargimino comes now to answer a question that more and more people are asking. Pastor Larry, is the internet preparing people to take the mark of the beast?
Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17 tell us that the beast from the earth causeth all, both rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Taking the mark is a sign of allegiance to the Antichrist. Those who do so will be allowed many liberties. Those who don't will live a very restricted life. The mark will be universally required for all transactions. However, those who take it will be doomed for all eternity. Bible prophecy leads us to believe that people will be conditioned to surrender themselves to gross evil. Something has to transpire to align the masses with the beast's evil agenda. The world has to go through a time of preparation. Today we see that Americans are living in an Alice in Wonderland world of fantasy and self-delusion. Everything has been turned upside down and inside out in America and the rest of the world. Right is wrong and wrong is right. Good is bad and bad is good. Normal is abnormal and abnormal is normal. Multitudes have already degenerated into decadence. The masses are obsessed with selfishness and sin, death and destruction. We see the continual unraveling of our society. The loudest voices win the argument no matter how wrong-headed, divisive, and irrational. In his newest book, The Eclipse of God, Dr. Erwin Lutzer writes, "We are being asked to believe that 2 + 2 = 5, that men can have babies, that children in grade school should question their gender, and that drag shows be allowed in school libraries." Close quotes. Is the Internet preparing those who are left behind for life on Earth under the reign of the Antichrist? In 2010, a book titled The Shallows, What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains, author Nicholas Carr cited a Pew Research survey in which 80% of 400 academicians agreed, quote, that use of the Internet will have enhanced human intelligence. As people are allowed unprecedented access to more information, they become smarter and make better choices, close quotes. In the second edition of The Shallows, Carr writes, quote, "The year 2020 has arrived. We're not smarter, we're not making better choices." The age of the Internet has trained us to multitask continually, which makes it hard to really concentrate on any one thing. We have become a society of superficial thinkers, having been conditioned to receive short bursts of information. In fact, Carr is troubled by the distractions caused by the Internet. He cites studies that show office workers constantly stopping to read incoming emails. People who work at a computer glance at their inbox 30 or 40 times an hour. When asked, however, how frequently they look, they give a much lower figure. It seems that populations are being dumbed down. People do not read books the way they used to. Pastors have noted that their congregations find it really hard to profit from a sermon that lasts more than 10 or 15 minutes. Why are Bible translators being encouraged by publishers to create English translations that are more slangy and paraphrastic than ever before? These translations are being advertised as the translation that everyone can understand, and yet retention and comprehension is at an all-time low. There is little doubt that we are living in perilous times. 2 Timothy 3:1 says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." Verse 7 speaks about those who are ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. The effects of the Internet and digital devices could very well fit the end-time picture drawn by Scripture. 2 Thessalonians verses 10 and 11 say this, "For this cause, that is because they did not receive the love of the truth that they might be saved, God shall send them strong delusions that they should believe a lie." In other words, those who have refused the truth will be given strong delusion by God Himself when the man of sin is revealed. They will believe his lie, receive him as the supreme authority and world ruler, and finally perish with him. But is the Internet really changing our brains? Gary Small, professor of psychiatry at UCLA, believes that it really is. There are others who also believe the Internet is changing our brains. Now, I'm not in any way suggesting that we should no longer use computers, smartphones, or the Internet. I am not anti-technology. I am not advocating selling our cars and that we should never travel by air. But unfortunately, America is no longer the country it was originally meant to be. Many of our leaders who are extremely popular do not believe in inalienable rights. They like to talk about privileges granted by the government. Bad idea. Moreover, Marxism has taken root in America. People like to speak of equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity. The former is impossible. There will never be equality of outcome except in a communist dictatorship. People have different abilities and talents. Some people are highly motivated, others are lazy. Every human being should have the same opportunities, but a government that wants to produce equal outcomes can only do so by punishing those who are industrious and diligent and rewarding those who are not. Beware of the Internet. It is a very sad thing to go to a restaurant and watch a family. No one is eating and no one is talking. Every eye is on their device. Human relationships have been trashed.
Thank you, Pastor Larry. Make sure you order Billy Crone's latest expose, The Planned Destruction of America. Both the book and DVD set are now available. Dive deep inside the Great Reset and discover what the globalists like Klaus Schwab have planned for America. Inside the pages and on the DVDs of The Planned Destruction of America, you will find the truth. Order The Planned Destruction of America by Billy Crone today. Both the book and DVD set are available. Simply call 1-800-652-1144. You can also order on our website, swrc.com. Tomorrow, Billy Crone will continue revealing the global elite's plan to destroy America. Be sure to tune in. Watchman on the Wall is a production of Southwest Radio Ministries and is supported by faithful listeners like you. Visit swrc.com.